Welcome to Tickle Your ROI, where we look at the marketing questions and challenges facing businesses and offer possible solutions and relevant insights. In this episode, we're revisiting one of our favorite topics and looking at franchise marketing via franchise branding and positioning. Brand positioning can be a complex question for franchise owners. It requires us to address the relationship between our individual franchise and its clients or customers, along with their understanding of the larger franchise brand. We'll start, as we often do, with the bottom line up front. Franchise owners need to correctly identify their brand identity and position, while simultaneously working within the identity and position of the broader franchise brand. When that's done and you're working in harmony with the franchise brand, it's time to start projecting that position to the right audience, while also making that position real for the clients or customers you're already engaged with. So let's start by defining the brand identity and brand position of your franchise. This is a complex issue in that many facets need to be addressed and incorporated. It's also a simple one in that it calls on you to understand what your franchise is, what it offers, and the place it occupies in the minds of both current and potential customers or clients. That's what brand position ultimately is: the distinguishing features or characteristics of your brand that set it apart from the competition and create a unique place for it in the minds of consumers. It's important to remember that this is distinct from brand awareness, which is a measure of how often the consumer thinks about your brand or how well they remember it. Both are important, but today we're talking about brand position for your franchise. Defining your franchise's brand position can seem a bit nebulous at first. What really sets us apart? What makes us distinct? The answers to those questions can sometimes be found by exploring another question. How do you want your target consumers to think about your business? Whether it's a standalone business or a franchise, you're working not just to provide a product or service, but to give your clients or customers an overall experience. What do you want them to remember about you? How do you want them to describe your business to other folks? While the product or service you provide is the core of your business, the heart and soul of your brand position is the quality of the overall experience you offer those who engage with you. This includes what you sell them, but it also incorporates customer services, the aesthetics of your location, ease of access to your business, your brand projection, and the emotional space you occupy with them. It's a lot to consider, but it's a start in figuring out what your brand position is. How do all those things come together both to create your brand and to set you apart from the competition? We'll use a hypothetical franchise restaurant as an example. You've acquired a franchise with a location relatively close to both an interstate highway and a large state university. Your brand position can start with your location. For example, easy to find, ample parking, and a convenient location. From there, you can expand your brand position further. Maybe you embrace school spirit and become a game day destination for college families and alumni. This might include appropriate decor, drink specials, and large TVs. From there, you might lean a little further to the university connection and host live music that appeals to students, offer specials aimed at them, or just reach out to that population as one of your targets. You've taken a franchise and turned it into a unique experience for a target customer base, giving them something to identify with and feel a part of. This is the basic goal of brand positioning. With that all having been said, let's talk briefly about how brand positioning works within the overall franchise brand. Most franchise brands give franchisees a fair amount of leeway in developing their own location's brand identity and brand position. However, you'll still need to work within the guidelines set by the parent brand. These guidelines are in place for a couple of reasons, all of which ultimately make the franchisee's life a little easier. First and foremost, they keep individual franchises from straying too far from the overall brand position and brand identity. It would probably be unwise to try and turn a sports bar-themed casual dining location into a nightclub or to convert a more high-end experience into a student bar. By working within the overall brand, you'll stay on track, and your location will work harmoniously with the expectations of both consumers and the parent company. On a more nuts and bolts level, the guidelines set by the parent brand help us stay focused and give us a direction to move in. You have the framework of a brand, all right, and you just need to fill in the spaces allocated for you to make it your own and develop your location's unique brand position and its relationship with its target audience. It's a little like decorating a house. The basic structure is there and set, and now you get to be creative in finding ways to personalize it and make it memorable. This is one of the great advantages of franchise ownership, and one of the key reasons franchises are becoming so popular among entrepreneurs and aspiring business owners. This requires you to develop a full and flexible understanding of your franchise, your audience, your location, and your overall goals. This is all foundational to long-term success, so the time spent working on your brand position will also pay off in other ways. With any business, there comes a time when the planning stops and the execution begins. So, when the rubber meets the road, how do you go about projecting your brand position to your target audience? While for obvious reasons, the specifics for how to do this will vary depending on your business, your industry, and your location. There are some general guidelines and rules of thumb that apply to most situations. These are good for both standalone businesses and franchises. So take them for what they're worth and incorporate them into your plan. Consistency is always critical when interacting with customers or clients, but it's the foundation of your brand positioning. With rare exceptions, your brand should look and feel consistent, as should the experience your clients or customers have when they walk through your door. No matter what service you provide or what product you sell, knowing what to expect is part of what cements your brand position in the minds of your target audience. For franchise owners, this is especially important as consistency across the parent brand is one of the main draws of a franchise for consumers. Keep your branding, marketing, advertising, customer experience, and deliverables all on the same page, each and every time. This will pay off in both a consistent brand position and strong customer loyalty. Follow up with customers or clients is another key step, and it's one that many businesses forget. Effective follow-up can take many forms, depending again on the nature of your business, but it's almost always critical that your customers or clients get some feedback from you. This can take place with direct customer contact via an email or phone list, by use of an automated system, or even a social media post along the lines of, "Thanks to everyone who came in this weekend. We hope you all had a good time." Customer follow-up should almost always include the solicitation of customer feedback. If something goes wrong, you want to know as soon as possible and take appropriate steps to remediate the situation. And if everything goes right, you'll know you're on a good path and that your customers are satisfied. Either way, communication with both your potential and established audiences is a vital part of a successful brand position. While consistency is important, your brand position should also remain flexible, adaptable, and responsive as both your business and your client base evolve. Things change in any industry, products or fads come and go, and you might find that your clients or customers want you to shake things up a bit. This is especially true for food and beverage-oriented businesses, but it can apply to many different industries as well. Your branding and brand position should leave room for growth as your business evolves and your audience grows and changes. This can mean making space for new products or product lines, trying out new in-house events or entertainment, expanding or changing the size and shape of your location, or incorporating a new set of services on offer. A prime example of how this works was the forced evolution that hit many businesses during the COVID-19 pandemic. Restaurants in particular had to adapt quickly and find ways to maintain their overall brand identity and brand position while meeting the new needs that were suddenly imposed on them. Some succeeded and some failed, but there are lessons to be learned there for the rest of us that may just be the topic of a future podcast. And speaking of future episodes, that's all the time we have for now. Thanks for taking a moment with me to explore a complex and interesting topic. Brand positioning might seem nebulous and tricky, but as we've seen, there are some approaches and strategies that make it a lot easier to understand and implement. Don't forget that the world of marketing is complex and evolving, so we'll continue to explore it in future podcasts. Please click follow in order to receive notifications about upcoming episodes. In the meantime, if you have any further questions, visit our website, check out our social media, or reach out to us via email for questions, business queries, or topic suggestions. This has been Tickle Your ROI with Blake Baxendale, and we'll see you next time.